So there's a web page here which acts as a kind of index with links to all of the resources that have been prepared and gathered together so far that can, in various combinations, be used to provide a toolkit, we hope, to support course teams. The resources basically break down into two broad types. There's a set of online learning objects that are essentially click-through diagrams. Here's an example of one. This is about Westminster distinctiveness. And you've got an interactive diagram on the right. If you click on Global Outlook, it'll bring up a little bit of text. And although you can't hear it because I'm speaking, as you make that click, there'll be typically 1 to 2 minute audio description of, in this case, Global Outlook. And these are recordings, in some cases, done by students, mostly at this stage done by me, I'm afraid. And in addition to the audio recording and a little bit of text here, there's a link to find out more, which takes you to a web page which has got more detail from the Westminster distinctiveness paper. There are several of these online learning objects. Here's one, for example, on curriculum assessment, which presents the information contained within the curriculum assessment paper that went to Academic Council in March, for example. Now, any or all of these learning objects we thought would be useful for individuals or course teams to get up to speed with the work of the different learning futures strands, perhaps prior to some sort of course team meeting to begin discussing the course and how the course might need to change. Now, the second broad type of resource that has been produced are sets of Viewpoints cards. Viewpoints is based on an approach developed initially at the University of Ulster, and it is a way to provide a framework for teams to reflect on their course and think about how they might wish to change that course in the future. Now, we've prepared a number of different Viewpoints cards which have different focuses. Can you say that? No, I've said it anyway. Different focuses. There's a set, for example, on internationalism, one on employability, and anytime, anywhere learning, and so on and so on. They look like this. They're essentially PowerPoint slides. Typically, they're printed on either A5 or A3 cards. I don't mean that. I mean A5 or A6 cards. And this would be the front of the card, and it would prompt a course team with either some questions or some statements around a particular issue, in this case admissions and marketing of a degree. And on the flip side of the card would be some suggestions as to how a course team might best be able to deal with the admissions and marketing aspects of their degree course. Just to give another example, let's look at Anytime Anywhere Learning. Again, nice bright colour this time, so this card is getting the course team to think about technology enhanced learning. So on the front of the first card there are some questions, key questions to do with integration of technology into courses, and on the flip side of the card are examples of sector-wide best practice that have been identified in relation to the use of technology to support on-campus courses. So that's kind of what Viewpoints cards look like. Normally they're physical things. If you just look at this list, there's quite a lot of them on lots of different topics, and because of that, what Mark Clements and I and Sybil Coldham and Federica have been doing is developing a kind of a core set, sort of overview card set, which touch on all the topics that those individual card sets cover. So what we would recommend is that course teams initially start working just with this set of Viewpoints cards, and you'll see that each card covers a different topic. Recruitment and retention there, changes in what and how we teach, and so on. And the idea would be that a course team would use this course set first, and then if they feel they need to explore something like technology enhanced learning, for example, in greater detail, then they would use the more extensive set of cards that cover technology enhanced learning in a number of different ways. So normally Viewpoints cards are physical things. They're printed off and they're used at face-to-face course meetings for course review or validations. And that's originally how we envisaged they would be used, and they may still be used in that way by many people. But in speaking to different people around the university about this approach of having these online learning objects to get up to speed with different aspects of learning futures, and then viewpoints cards, physical viewpoints cards, to use at course meetings, course team meetings, a couple of people have said, well, why can't it all be done online? And it can be. The whole thing can be done online. The viewpoints cards can be online. I'll just show you how this works, or can work. So here's an example of another online learning object that takes people through, again, the information contained within the Westminster Distinctiveness paper. And again, you've got, this time you've got kind of like a series of like slides rather than a circular diagram to click on. But again, you've got the key phrases from the Distinctiveness paper, resilient leaders, for example, a little bit of text, a link to find out more if you want to, and some audio that would be playing. Again, you can't hear it, but there is audio, about a minute or 2 minutes of audio. And then when you've clicked through all of these and you've gotten to the end, there's one last slide which takes you to the kind of reviewing your course part, and then you can click on the course review support page. And here, this one's been mocked up for Faculty of Science and Technology. Here are the overview viewpoints cards. So if you click, for example, on flexibility in teaching, it takes you to a version of the card in Word online. And again, you've got the front of the card with some key statements and questions, some practice points, examples of best practice drawn from across the sector, and then basically you've got the opportunity as an individual or a group, if you're working in a group, which probably would be in many cases, to think about, well, what do we do in our course in relation to what's on these cards? And then if I click on edit in browser, that document can be edited, and the course team can actually type whatever they want to type. I'll just delete that. So they can actually record their thoughts and views during potentially a face-to-face session online in this way as they work through the Viewpoints cards. And finally, this can also be mocked up in Blackboard. Here's an example. So it's a Blackboard site. There's a welcome, which you don't have to have, but here you've got overview and course review overview, and that opens up pretty much inside Blackboard the same sort of, I've mocked this one up for actually the law school, similar sort of thing. Again, click through, work through, listen to the audio, find out more if you want to, get to the last page, click on course review, and there again are links through to the different Viewpoints cards with the option for the people working with the card to actually edit this and add their comments, suggestions and views online. Okay, that's it, I think, in all under 10 minutes. Sorry, I actually wanted to make it 5 minutes. Apologies.